to share something really quick that I don't have some final answer, but it's just something I'm pondering. After I got some feedback yesterday, I posted a session with a client with consent, and I got feedback that I was really gentle and soft and feminine and raw, I think. But I'm thinking about the softness and the gentleness, and I don't really know what to say. It's like, because I got the message that this fits, or it will be a good fit for really sensitive people. And it made me think, okay, so maybe it's not correct for someone else, which might be true. I think it is true. Might be, whatever. But it made me think about the expectation people have for healing, and I'm including myself and my realizations lately. This, so I see it in some somatic breathwork videos where it's like this drive for catharsis of the more intense the better. It's almost like one, a high, but two, it's almost like the belief that the stronger the release, the more healing you will get, which is like, what are we trying to do here? What is this end goal? You know, it's very end goal oriented, as if there's an ending, as if there's this, oh, I can get to this place where I don't feel pain, or where this shit doesn't happen. You know, it's avoidant. Can be, at least. I also see, of course, videos that are, it feels very organic, not pressured. It's like what comes up, and sometimes it's intense. But then I'm thinking, how many of my clients, I'm including myself, how many are walking into the session with a specific hat on? Or as my old therapist would say, what horse are you coming into the session on? But I don't know why horse, but and I'm thinking like very typical hats or horses will be, I'm here to get into this feeling and release the feeling, because if I release the feeling, my life will be okay. I used to come into the session on this horse of, you're the authority, you know better than me, so I'm here to learn, not equal at all. Fixing myself, definitely one that I used to have. But it is this over, I don't know the word, this overlying belief that all this healing needs to happen. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm not like, no, we don't need healing, we should just live our lives. Because I don't believe that. But I also believe that, or I'm questioning that, you know? And it's so I'm very not clear on where I'm at, in a way. So this is confusing, probably, maybe, who knows. My mood. So I've gotten to this place where I'm like, man, I've been in this healing bubble for so long, and it's tempting to make it wrong. That's like where I'm getting at. It's tempting to make it wrong, that I shouldn't have needed all that, or that I was doing something obsessing, kind of being in my internal world fixing things. But it definitely is, there are a lot of lessons to having been where I'm at. Like I want to believe that it was needed for multiple reasons, and when time was right, which time is right now, I'm getting to this place where I'm like, maybe I don't need it anymore. That I'm completely getting off from where I started. Because what I wanted to say in the beginning was about the gentleness. Please let me remember to get back to this point. I wanted to say about gentleness that there's so much more to healing than just emotional release. That when I show up in a session, if I show up proper, fingers crossed I do, it's about you and me and the client. Me being calm in my nervous system, being patient, being on the same team as my client, uncovering what's there, becoming aware. It's also about creating space for feelings so feelings can be processed, yes. There's also what happens in your internal world. Oh, this part wants that, this part's having a reaction to that. And then it's also about, okay, how are the main self relating to those parts? Ideally, one would operate from a calm, centered, curious place that is also leading, that also has some desires, goals, some direction to guide by, which is something that I'm learning, seeing that I've been a bit at fault in this regard, because it's easy with all this focus on the emotions and the internal dynamics to, for me, one thing is to try to just organize and heal things inside so I don't need to make changes outside. That's one thing. But it's also an aspect of it for me has been not being like the steady adult that knows the direction in my life, knows what I want, and has some clear vision it's a fucking clear vision on where to go. So and it's so interesting because it's only in the beginning of the summer that I realized, wait, future is a concept. I'm actually allowed to want things to last. I can want things to last. It's like opening a door and saying like, whoa, in 10 years maybe I have the same friend, because that's possible. Until the beginning of the summer, that was not in my awareness, which sounds strange because I was talking about things I wanted in the future, but I didn't see it as possible still, which has a great effect on how I show up. So when that door opened and I can see future, I can also know what I want and see what action will take me there. So that puts me in a position of being the leader to all my inner parts. Maybe sometimes we have to do things that they don't like. That's okay. They're allowed to be kids and like rage and be upset, and it's not that I will bulldoze them. That's not the point. It's like I take us where we need to go to get the things we want, because I, in some instances, maybe know better because I'm the adult and I'm seeing things they're not seeing. So then they have all the reactions, and I'm here for that because I love myself. that's it. That's it. Listen, so yeah, give me a medal. Someone, just please. um, so that's a different way of living. Did I start by saying gentleness and I ended up here? How did that happen? Don't know. I will talk about gentleness now. So, back to where I started, which I don't remember where I started. That when a client shows up in a session, yeah, it was about all those things that I said. I hope you paid attention. And I think a lot of people like will go in the trap, like I did, including myself in it all, of just releasing all the feelings and thinking that is enough. A friend of mine, close friend of mine, she said a few weeks ago that, you know, feelings indicate what I want or what I don't want. When I have a feeling from one of my inner children, wounded children, and they don't like something that happened in my life, my external life. So it's not like I go in and try to soothe the feeling away. Yeah, I show up, I soothe, I listen, I figure out what wasn't wanted. And I think what she does that I don't do is she doesn't necessarily see it maybe in the same way as an inner child. Because it's easy for me to think, oh, it's a child, so I'm an adult, so I shouldn't have child's needs and it should grow up, and when it's grown up it has some more mature needs here. It's really, I still have resistance to it. Thinking that I should listen, that I can listen and take them seriously and be like, some part of me inside is like, I don't like that person, I just don't like them, ew, you know? And then I'm like, whoa, that's really an irrational fucking feeling. They didn't do nothing. Why? We can't just not like people because ew. But then I'm like, well, that was what I felt. I have no reason why, like, but that I don't like them. So let's use my adult here to like navigate this situation and be like, not engage in that relationship anymore. It's not about, oh, maybe that's a trigger, maybe that's some resentment towards one of my parents, maybe I should heal that. Although there's so much value also in when there's an emotional charge, so you can't see clearly. Probably when there's such a strong emotional charge, you lose access to your adult and you can't navigate clearly. So it's showing up and discharging for the sake of the totality of the health of the system ish. Give me a medal. Yeah. Was I saying something else as well? Wanted to get back to a point. My knee hurt a bit. It's so much that unfolds in the moment in the session. There's so much at the same time, and it's like it might appear, because if I'm allowing space for everything that shows up, right, and I'm not like having this laser focus towards one thing and like kind of brutally going for it to the depth of the core, which some people will do, which I have done, including myself here. So then you're missing out on so much of the other stuff. How many, if I go straight for the core, which I might be able to do that with a client. Then I might skip past protector parts. I might skip like healing is an organic process, it unfolds in its own pace. I'm probably, if I do that, go straight to the core, I'm skipping some really important stuff, because then I imagine I put myself in an authority position and the other one is like not equal. So we're already now in a skewed relationship. That in and of itself is important for the healing to become aware of, because we should, that was, my therapist kept saying that again and again, like, I'm on your side, we're in this together, there's nothing wrong with you, although that's your belief. I'm not here to fix you, we're here to become aware. And it's something about being equal and seeing you, the other person, as, I respect your truth, I want you to have what you want. What do you want? Let's talk about it. You don't know, you're confused because you have multiple things going on. Let's talk about it. I'm here for it. I don't need you to be anyone or anywhere. It's okay. And just to model that as well to someone is also so important. The patience, the calming down, that we have time. This is fucking trauma shit. When rush, it has to go fast, it has to be powerful, it has to happen now. I'm learning that myself. Time. It's like trying to get something done so that I can start living. There's so much importance, and I don't know how other people do that, but so when I'm navigating someone's internal landscape, oh, now we're dealing with a part, cool, we're exploring that part. But then when I orient that part towards the main self, which is really important, that's the relationship. That's the relationship inside of you. That's your relationship with yourself. Then it's almost like some people are like, they haven't done that before, and they have worked with therapists before, they have worked with practitioners before, but it's still like new to establish that connection. I've had people say like, and it's easy to think you're connecting as well. So I might be like, oh, okay, so now we're dealing with this part. Like, look at them, what do you see? They're like, oh no, they really want love. And I'm like, okay, nothing of this is true. Nothing is like landing on what you just said. They're not attuning. So then I'm like, no, okay, so let's slow down. And I start orienting them towards the part, like, how far are you? And at some point with my questions, I will notice that they pay attention inwards, and they're starting to figure out the answer to my questions. So that's the beginning of attunement. And at some point, they will actually see the part, and they will be like, oh. And I'm like, what's happening? Well, I think I'm connecting for the first time. I didn't know it felt like this. And I mean, if they have been to therapy a lot before, and they never established that connection with themselves, it's like, what the fuck are they even doing in therapy? And then you can bring the attention of either the part or the main self to, okay, so I am also here. How's that feel that I'm witnessing this? Does anything come up when I say that? See, so that's really slow. We're like just slowing down to unpack, and that's healing. But that's not like what people think healing is sometimes, I think. And I mean, in a way, it feels like nothing happens, because it's just like gentle reorientation and unfolding. It's not like they're not bawling. So it's like, oh, man, nothing must have happened then. When in reality, it's like the opposite. Opposite. Maybe this is just old news for people. Maybe not. What I think is really interesting is how I don't know how to explain this or describe this. I'll have a sip of water while I think. mm. Hmm. I kind of just want to play right now. Wish I had someone I could just have fun with. It's like sometimes I'm looking for options and it's really fucking hard because I never experienced the option I'm looking for. That's a really tricky, fascinating place to be when that happens. I'm glad I am kind of like getting to the point where I can recognize that that's happening, so I can conjure up something and like start to like crack things open. But blind spots, man. That's all I have to say. Okay, I will peace out. I should have introduced myself, maybe in the beginning. Yo, what's up? My name is Gunil. You can call me Archer if my first name is too hard. I work as a counselor and I have been doing for some years, and I've grown immensely since I started my firm in 2014. And if you're interested, I have some offers currently up. I have one-on-one sessions. I have a weekly Thursday call. It's a drop-in call. You book your seat 2 days in advance. 6 spots available, that's a really good call. We just explore what's present and attune to each other. It's fun. And I also have Archer's Community, which has 2 options. It's 6 month commitment, 1 call each week. You can look up archerscommunity.com, I think. And the second option is a light version, 2 calls a week. And yeah, if you want in on any of that, oh, my mood's like, I'm an amazing practitioner, choose me. If you feel like I can create something that would help you, feel free to invite me to do that. That could be an interesting experiment. Opening the door for that. Yes, yes. I'm peacing out.